What up, guys? Welcome back to the Shinobi Squad Podcast. I'm fan service Renji.
I'm Shana Mostella.
Today, we're going to talk about going from cosplay to reality TV.
Oh, yeah.
You know, we've been out in LA, been out in the Hollywood area. It was a matter of time that we were going to end up on TV. But on this episode, we're going to talk about the reality show experience. I know what some of the haters thinking, well, if I got arrested, I'd be on TV too. No, we did not get arrested in Hollywood yet. Not yet. We still got time to become famous and have scandals, so that will come in years down the line.
Mm-hmm.
Fortunately, both of us have been able to experience being on reality TV from the starting process to the end process.
Mm-hmm.
I want to start by talking about my experience with a show that you may have heard of. It was called King of the Nerds. A lot of you don't know, it was one of the reasons why I moved to LA in such an abrupt manner. As with all movies and TV shows, you have to look for the casting call, then you have to audition. Just to make it clear, in case there's people that still think this is true, cosplay is not a segue to being on a TV show or in movies.
Definitely not.
Definitely not. You have to audition like everybody else. I saw the casting call, I saw the requirements. Luckily, they were taking video submissions for the audition. I made my round one videotape, sent it in. It did well. I heard back from, I believe, one of the producers or one of the casting agents. They wanted me to make a second video, but this time they sent me an exact checklist of things I had to cover. In case I made the show, this video would be used for my intro reel. You know when you watch American Idol and it shows people that audition and sometimes it tells their story because if they make it a little further down the show, they have things to cut back to. So they were going to use this audition tape to cut back to in case I made it. Made the second tape, sent it in. They loved it. They wanted to move me further. I was getting super excited. I've made it past 2 rounds of auditions now. Weeks go by. I don't hear anything. I'm just freaking out. Does that mean they cut me? Are they still thinking about me? I'm like 10 steps ahead, right? I'm like, I need to quit my job. I need to get to LA.
Because unfortunately, when it comes to TV productions and movie productions, they don't know what's going to happen, unfortunately, until the day of or the week before, stuff like that. So it's hard to gauge when they're going to actually start the project. So
yeah, they don't wait for you either. Once it's go time, it's go time. That was one of the things they had told me. If you are selected, can you be out here within 14 days? That's kind of scary just to pack up and leave in 14 days. Weeks go by, I finally get a call. It's either from one of the casting agents or one of the producers, but it was somebody important. Now I'm having this live in-phone interview. Goes well. The guy loves me. He's like, congratulations. We're going to move you to the final round.
Whoa.
I'm sitting there about to go to work and quit my job like, screw you, screw you, screw you. You're cool, screw you. You know how that saying goes. I didn't want to get too excited. The deal's not done until you sign paper.
Right.
I'm waiting for the final verification email. What someone says on the phone is all fine and dandy, but if there's no paperwork to go with it, it doesn't mean shit.
It's so nerve-wracking.
Yeah, for all I knew, it could have been one of my dumbass friends messing with me.
Right.
Get the final email. It's all official. It's telling me dates. It's telling me production's going to start on this time. It's looking legit. The email tells me they want to go through with having me as part of the cast.
Yeah.
Oh, my heart sunk. I was like, yes. I've made it. I've made it. I'm looking at the dates. It's pretty much giving me a month to move.
Wow.
The scary thing was it didn't guarantee how long I was going to be on the show. For those that aren't familiar with King of the Nerds, it's a reality show, but it's a competition reality show that you could be there for a day or you could be there for all 3 weeks of filming. From the moment I got that email to the start date, I had just over 3 weeks, about 3 weeks to a month. I go and tell my boss the news. Of course, he's super excited for me. Not only am I moving to a new state, I can't work for those first 3 weeks because I might be filming for this show.
Right.
How am I supposed to pay my bills? I have to tell him, yes, I'm coming, or no, I'm not. I finally tell my boss, screw it, I'm going. I'm going to take this chance. But then I still didn't even have an apartment here in California. I was so wrapped up in just this show, I didn't even think about where the hell I'm going to stay. So then I jump on a plane, come all the way to LA, give myself a week to find a place to live.
A week in LA.
Yeah.
Good luck.
Right?
They don't even call back.
They didn't.
Nobody calls back. When you look for an apartment out here in LA, they rarely call you back. You have to show up. You have to, I don't know, use a blowhorn to get someone's attention. It's a lot.
You got a strong arm, though.
Yeah.
That itself was a whole process. I could talk about that in a whole nother podcast.
Oh, yeah.
It was a nightmare. I didn't even know where we were filming. I didn't know where I had
Damn.
to be around. If you come to LA, you need to be within half hour of where you're trying to be, especially if you're trying to be on TV or trying to act and stuff.
Especially if you don't have a car.
That too. You need to be close in case they call you last minute and you have to be on set. That happens all the time.
Mm-hmm.
I find a place, fortunately, in K-Town. It was on some shady conditions. I didn't know if the lady was really going to let me move in or if she was going to keep my money and say, I don't remember you. They had availability that would open up right about the same time I arrived. She wanted all the money up front so we could just sign the contracts. I only probably brought $1,500 to put down.
Uh-huh.
I knew apartments were expensive, but I didn't know I had to put down first month's rent, deposit, and then like last month's rent. This lady wanted pretty much like $4,500 up front to lock in this apartment so I could sign the contract, which I get. I'm like, well, I have $1,500. She's like, well, do you have a job reference I could use? I'm sitting there like, well, I'm going to have one. And so now she's now looking at me crazy. Like, you don't have all the money up front and you don't technically have a job yet. I'm
willing to move.
Yeah, right. I've got good spirit. I'm trying to convince her I do have a job. I work for this nationwide company. I got a transfer coming, but I didn't get my offer letter from the LA branch either. I just interviewed with them right before I talked to this lady. So the job was in the bag, but I didn't have the offer letter. And I was like, well, I'm supposed to be on a TV show. And she's like, sure.
You're going to be a celebrity.
TV show. Like, I haven't heard that before. She's like, well, do you have the contracts? I'm like, no.
So what do you have?
Again, I'm just looking like an out-of-town crazy person that's supposed to be on TV, that has a job, and that can afford this apartment.
But don't worry, I'm going to make it big, Mom.
Pretty much.
I'm going to be on TV.
Luckily, she was like, okay, give me the $1,500. I'm going to write you a receipt saying you gave me this money. Mm-hmm. If you do not show up the time you say you will with the rest of the money, you lose this $1,500.
Oh, shit.
She would only take it in cash, too, which is also super sketch.
Yeah.
Finally, apartment found, jobs, everything set up. Now just to go back home and pack. I'm like, okay. They said I've made it onto the cast. Mm-hmm. Nothing to worry about. Finally comes down to the week of moving. Mm-hmm. Hearts thumping. Been waiting my whole life just to move to California, but then to move to California and be on TV at the same time.
Right off the bat.
Dreams coming true. 3 days before it's move day, I get an email.
Oh, no.
Mm-hmm. You can already tell by the look on my face. It's going to be disappointing. Get the email from the same person I've been talking to this whole time. Mm. Sorry to reach out to you with such bad news. The producers have decided to replace you last minute.
Damn.
Are you freaking serious? I just went through all that to move to LA on some last minute shit. 3 days before I'm supposed to hit the road to come to LA, the producers cut me at the last minute.
Damn.
That is ridiculous. No consultation toaster, no nothing.
Wow.
Can't give me
That's
tickets to Six
bullshit.
Flags. Taco coupons for their favorite taco spot. Something. It's not like I can get any of my money back from the apartment.
Right.
Job transfers are in place. Everything's already set. Mm-hmm. Reasons why they cut me? The producers looked at the other cast members, decided to go with a different look and roster.
For those of you who don't watch reality TV like that, a lot of those reality shows have characters on the show. You know, there's a cool guy, the sexy girl, the drunk person, the smart ass, there's always certain characters. Yep. I've watched enough Jersey Shore and all those MTV and VH1 reality TV shows to know.
This show wanted different character types.
And it's all about the show. It's all about the act. It's not really about who you are, and they're not really interested in who you are. They want to see a show, and they want to see you act a fool or be a certain way.
It's about who's going to sell the best show. Unfortunately, with this change up, I didn't fit the roster. After watching the show when it aired and then seeing who they chose and looking back to some of the things they're telling me, it seemed like my character was too cool for the other characters. Mind you, the show is King of the Nerds.
Yeah.
If you had watched the first season, they had a comic book nerd, a video game nerd, like fandom nerds.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a better word. A movie nerd.
Yeah.
Season 2, the cast members they chose was what you just said, like geeky, smart, stereotype, intelligent nerds. I think like one dude was a scientist of some sort, like those kind of nerds. Based on my character type and what I observed of that cast, they didn't have the fandom nerds.
Right.
That seemed to be like very season 1.
Yeah.
It made sense why I got cut. I didn't fit in that group.
Right.
I would have been just dumb in comparison to them. They were actually like smart ass people.
But during your casting, did they ever tell you what season 2 was going to be about?
No.
And if you were going to fit that roster?
No. I was never told what they were looking for in that roster. As I progressed to the next level of casting, I was told a little bit more information.
Right.
I was never told, this is what we're trying to go for. It's just, this is what we want from you right now.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of discouraging if they're asking you for like a whole variety of stuff, but it's not pertaining to what they're looking for.
Yeah.
Had you had known that, you could have shown, because you're very book smart yourself, and you could have fit in very well with that cast.
Oh, yeah.
But you still could have played a different, side of it.
Yeah, like I could have played a different character. I was just giving them what they were asking me more of after my initial audition.
Yeah.
Part of my early auditions, I said I was like a straight A student, got scholarships and stuff like that. So like, I am book smart.
And
like,
that could have worked.
Yeah,
I don't know why they didn't.
I think I was supposed to be the cool cast member, like the cool nerd. Yeah.
Do you know who they replaced you with?
No, because after you watch that show, they're like the same type of nerd across the board. So I couldn't pinpoint which one was the cool nerd. I watched the whole season. I'm just like,
I was like, all right.
I would have been annoyed living in the house. I would have been like,
talking about math and equations.
Why are you so nerdy.
And the computer parts.
Yeah. I would not have mixed in with them. Maybe it was for my own sake because they didn't want me to rage.
Nerd rage.
Yeah. The most valuable lesson I learned from that experience was nothing's official till not only you sign the contract, but when the cameras roll.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing means shit until the cameras roll on you.
Exactly. And I'm sure it was nothing personal on you as a person. It's just when a lot of the times when you audition for these things, the producer just wants what they want to sell the show. They can't always tell you everything up front because they don't know what their bosses are going to say about the show or if it's even going to be picked up. Yeah. So there's a lot of that, and I've gone through that a lot with auditions. I've learned that, after going through a lot of auditions on my own, like a lot of those shows didn't even get picked up. I don't ever take that personally. Like at least your show that you auditioned for got picked up, and at least it wasn't. Yeah, and at least it wasn't a complete waste of time. But I've gone through this a lot where the show doesn't even go anywhere, and I did Skype calls, Skype interviews, and good thing I never had to go in to an audition, but it's still a waste of time.
Speaking of shows never getting picked up, remember the one time we went into an audition with one of our friends for some other reality show?
It was like a spin on Shark Tank.
Yeah, that's what it was.
I don't want to say exactly what it was, but it was along the lines of Shark Tank.
I don't even remember exactly what it was because our friend that brought us in kind of vaguely told us something.
Yeah. After thinking about it, I don't think that we were ever really going to be a part of the show, or that was like her idea or that she had in mind.
We were just part of the sales pitch.
We're just part of to help her sell her idea.
And sell herself as a cast member.
But that's LA. That's LA for you,
That's the game, yeah. It's everyone's out here trying to hustle, and they're going to use what they can. Mm-hmm. At first, it seemed like it was a show that was coming out. Then after talking to them more and picking their brain and going in circles, we finally got them to tell us that it's just a pilot.
And we even asked him, we're like, if this show gets picked up, do you think we'll be a part of it? He's like, oh, no. We'll see about that. But I don't think that you guys are going to actually be a part of it. We're just kind of like shipping ideas and shopping ideas.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, okay, so this is like a waste of time for all of us then.
Yeah, so you want us to audition to be a part of your demo reel,
Yeah.
and then get nothing back in return?
Because we were just all a part of something that they were going to use to shop to an actual company.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't about the show yet.
Yeah, they were
This was
trying to
just
get a show picked up.
Yeah.
So you want us not only to pretend like we're on the show, but actually create a whole product like we're on the show.
Uh-huh.
Just for you to be like, okay, we got our check. Bye, thank you.
And honestly, like when you see these things on the websites that they post this kind of stuff on, I don't know what it said to begin with. All we know is what the girl had said to us. We don't know what it actually said. Like it could have been something like, oh, be a part of this idea. They'd be a part of this thing we're gonna shop to producers or whatever. I don't think it ever said like you were gonna be a part of this.
Oh yeah, we were never shown the actual casting call. We were just going off the strength of what we were told.
She could have found this on Craigslist for all we know, and it could have been a part of something totally different than what we thought it was. So lesson learned.
Lesson learned.
Buyer beware.
Yeah, it looked legit. We had the meeting at Universal Studios movie lot, not the theme park, the actual lot where the directors and the producers sit.
Yeah.
Like, oh shit.
We went to an actual studio production area.
Go ride Harry Potter and then talk to someone on the bench eating a churro.
Yeah, we saw like the stars, parking spots and everything. It was a really nice experience to be there. That's what I took from it at the end of the day. Like I got to experience something really cool, you know, in Hollywood.
It was surreal, but it was also burning a hole in my asshole strike 2 for reality shows.
Yeah.
That's 2 times now.
And there's a lot out here too.
That's twice I've gone through all this trouble just to get the big middle finger. Like, nah, never mind.
Because we spent time there.
Yeah.
We spent a lot of time there just for them to tell us, oh, you might not even be a part of this. Like we're just starting out too. Like we're in the same shithole with you. Like what the fuck?
I had to miss work, and I had just started this job too, to be taking a day off like that.
And to come from what you just went through, to go through this.
Exactly.
But still, you were still fresh in LA.
Yeah, I still had stars in my eyes. Still like, okay. That was just one show.
Little do you know.
Little did I know. While we're on the topic of shows that never happened, I got hit up by another person about being on a nerd-based show. By this point, I had submitted to so many casting calls. All I remember was I got a phone call from someone, and I had an interview with them. Interview went well. Casting agent totally loved my personality. They wanted to take it to the next step further. The next step was to submit a video interview via Skype call. Of course, the day I had my Skype call, freaking had rolling blackouts in LA.
I remember that.
On top of rolling blackouts, I'm sitting there like, okay, so how am I supposed to have this Skype call? I can't get internet. I might not even have electricity. I tell the lady this. She's like, oh, okay, well, just do what you can. So now I'm on my phone trying to Skype call on my phone with my data plan now. Obviously, through my phone, I can't hook up all these fancy mics and other webcams to give them the highest quality video ever. Just like the other show, this was going to be what they would use to cut from in case I made the show.
Right.
She kept stressing me, hey, you got to make a good quality. I'm like, cool, I'm trying. I explained to her the situation once again. She's like, okay, well, just do what we can. I already told the producers about you, and they're willing to forgive it. They just want to see you live. I go do my best. I go set up and get as much light as I can, and I've got my headset on, and I'm trying to do this interview. Then she changes up what the interview's even supposed to be about. I'm like, wait, hold up. I had prepared for this. She gave me a list of questions to answer.
Yeah.
Then she was like, oh, no. We're doing this now. We just need quick, fast, hot clips. I'm like, okay, but I took time to prepare well thought out answers. I thought I was interviewing with the producers. Oh, no. We're skipping that stage now, and we're just going to take this, and if the hot clips are good, we're going to use it and move forward to the next step. Film this whole interview thinking I'm good. I wait a week or two. I get a call back. She tells me they're going to go with someone else. I would have been cool with that. But to add insult to injury, it's bad enough you already said no. Then you have to tell me this? Well, the producers and myself really liked you. We just have to disqualify you from the show because your online Skype interview was very low quality and we can't use that in the final filming.
Even though that wasn't even supposed to be a part of the deal.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God.
We're already behind on production, so we can't afford to wait any longer and have you refilm that segment. So we're just going to go with the other candidates that did it up to par.
Oh, like Dashy. Oh. Be like that, though.
It'd be like that.
I can't even tell you how many Skype interviews I did.
These people are just out here trying to sell a show. They don't care if they're playing with your emotions. They don't care if they make you go through all this work. Told her the circumstances, and I was still told it's going to be okay. This is just to judge your personality. Then to have this come around and be like, nope, this is why you're being cut.
Yeah.
Exactly what I warned her about.
But they do that. They do the Skype interview stuff so that you don't have to travel all the way to them, which I get. But if you know that you're doing something through Skype, it's not going to be of quality.
Yeah.
It's Skype. Since when is Skype high definition?
Exactly.
I don't. What the?
Exactly. So that was strike number 3 for me.
You're like, you know what?
Strike 3 with reality shows in Los Angeles. Mind you, this is still my first 6 months being here.
It's a lot already.
Just shaking my head. Like by this time, I hadn't even gone to a lot of actual auditions for roles yet. I'm already got a bad taste in my mouth between that and being extra. But the extra experience is a whole nother thing we'll talk about in a future podcast. All right, guys, enough about me and my strikeouts in the world of reality television. Let me throw it to Shana. She was actually cast on a show that actually aired.
So I was cast to be on this cosplay competition show. And the premise of the show was you had to craft a cosplay live on stage within a certain amount of time. So it was me versus a competitor. Each of us was allowed a partner to be on the show to help us in the competition. My partner was you.
Fan service Renji.
Because I'm like, you've had enough hardships. I'm already in this shit. Like, I'm going to go ahead and just, like, bring you into this so
Shana
you don't
threw
feel
me a
so
bone.
bad. So you don't feel bad. I didn't, like...
She felt bad. I striked out 3 times now. She's like, here, you can be my assistant.
Because I know how this stuff goes. Like, even before I moved out here.
And side note, before we moved to LA, Shana used to model in Chicago. She knows all about the audition process and the disappointment.
Yeah.
So she was good.
And I was on a couple of independent films. So, like, I understood the process. And
she's already up on game, but I really wasn't.
we just moved to LA, and I didn't want you to burn bridges already and just be, like, butthurt about
Punching
everything.
producers.
It takes time, so...
Punch the TV every time these shows come on that I wasn't on.
So I'm like, here, get your toes wet, get a feel for the industry. Let's do this show together. So how it all started was an acquaintance. I can't even say friend, really. An acquaintance, we'll call her Alyssa for the sake of this video, but she had messaged me about a show that she was going to be on. It was the show, the cosplay competition show. She needed a partner for her episode, so she asked me to do that. She gave my information to the producer to get in touch with him so he can get my information and everything so we could, talk about being on the show and he can give me details. And he said, well, I know you're going to be on Alyssa's episode as her partner, but would you like to be on your own episode and have your own partner? So I'm like, yeah, I'm down. I have a partner. I have someone who's willing to be on the show and everything. So that's how I got involved. Long story short. So the day comes where we have this pre-production meeting with the producers, and they pretty much broke down how the show is going to go. So finally, filming day is upon us. I'm filming my episode before Alyssa's episode. Hers is the next day. So I'm talking about my episode on this particular day.
Okay.
We get there. They have everything laid out for us. They're like, okay, we're going to start filming. I'm thinking in my head, like, it's a competition. Like, we have, I don't know, something like 4 hours.
4 hours.
Something like that. And we have to make this cosplay within this time frame. And I'm like, cool. I've done this before. I make cosplay. This is what I do. I'm trying to figure out what I want to make from the things that were laid out on the stage. So with the category that they had given me, I chose to do Urza from Fairy Tale.
Yep.
Because they had everything that I needed there. And you were helping me put everything together. I had my sewing machine there. We had mannequins. We had all kinds of things there on stage. So as we're crafting, they have a big time clock in the middle of the stage. So for the show's purpose, the audience can watch the clock. We can watch the clock to see like how much time we have. Every now and then I'm looking at this clock and it's saying 4 hours and it's counting down from 4 hours. But every time I look up, it's like shorter and shorter. It would jump. I know for a fact that much time did not pass.
Oh, yeah. Let me expand on that. Production day was a disaster, first off. We were told we were given 4 actual hours to craft. That was not true at all. That was the idea. Why I say production was a disaster, things were taking longer than expected. To make up for that lost time, it came out of the crafting time clock.
Yeah.
That's why I kept jumping. One of the things they kept messing up on, for example, was the introduction where they introduced our team and the opponent's team.
Yeah.
For some reason, that took like 15 million takes. We didn't know that until they started filming.
We didn't know that at all. Because as soon as they said go, it was already, like the time looked like it had already been shaved.
Yeah, it started at like 4 hours and then it jumped to like 3 hours and 30 minutes.
Yeah. We're like, how did that take a half an hour? During this time, whatever they were doing behind the scenes, we were still on stage crafting. We were still rolling. I was still doing my best. And I'm like looking at the clock and I'm looking at you like, are you done? Are you done? You're done? I was getting nervous because I thought the whole premise of the show was to get something done within this time frame. So that's what I was trying to do. In my head, I'm not thinking that this is a reality TV show.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking that this is just for shits and giggles. Like I'm just here wasting my time on stage.
Yeah, we're treating it as an actual competition.
Yes. So fast forward after me and you had already finished our end of the deal. Like we finished the costume. They gave us some time behind the scenes to wrap up small ends here and there. They provided us with the wig for the cosplay, which was really cool. I had time to get dressed. I had time to make sure everything was like ready for the episode and everything. The way that I counted the time in my head, it was 4 hours. It was 4 complete hours.
Oh, yeah, we definitely got it done.
We definitely got it done within 4 hours. So we're backstage. I wasn't even paying attention to our opponent, the people that were going against us the whole time, because on stage it was us and then them across from us. But I wasn't even looking at them. I didn't even care. I'm like, I'm going to get this done. I'm going to win this episode. I'm going to win some money, And I'm dressed and ready. I'm sitting pretty and like backstage waiting for them to tell us something further. We're put in the room backstage and we were all together, me and the opponents. And the opponents were in there, but they were still crafting. They were still only halfway done.
They were nowhere near done.
Like maybe halfway, because they were making something. I think they were doing Mystique.
They're doing Mystique from X-Men with the chainmail skirt.
The chainmail one from the comic books.
Yes.
They were making chainmail one by one. Like they were just like literally making chainmail backstage. They weren't even anywhere near done. And they kept asking the producers for more time. And I remember that because we were sitting there just like chilling basically and just like talking amongst me and you, and then the producer came in and saw that we were finished, but then they looked over at the opponent, and by this time the producers were trying to just race the clock, like the actual clock, because they needed to finish this episode before the day was over.
Yeah, because they booked the studio for a certain amount of time and they could not go over because the studio was going to close.
Yeah, so they're looking at the other people like, can you guys do something to like hurry up? And then they kind of looked at us and was like, do you mind helping them for the sake of the episode? And I'm like, okay, as long as this doesn't count against us in the competition, because I'm like, you see, I have everything ready. I showed them. I did like a whole, I remember going outside of the room and doing like a whole like runway, like modeling, like up and down the hallway walk for them to show them that my everything was finished and complete. They're like, okay, yeah, everything's fine. Just go ahead and help them just so we can finish the show.
Yeah, we clearly won.
Yeah, we clearly won.
We got our shit done within a certain amount of time.
Yeah, and everybody saw that. Like one of the judges even peeked in on us and to see where everything was, and they saw all of us. They saw us and they saw that I was finished, but they didn't see that these people were not anywhere near finished. They saw that. I want you guys to put that, like, have that in the back of your mind. They saw that these people were not finished. So we're helping them tie everything together. We're helping them do their little chainmail, whatever.
Quick side note. Okay, it was those two, Shana, myself, and 3 random stagehands.
Yeah,
We're
I forgot
all
about
helping
that.
them craft. Yeah,
Oh,
there's
yeah.
just people off in the side
Yeah.
helping them either paint shit or attach more chainmail together. And quick side note within a side note, some of that chainmail was made beforehand because I caught the assistant bring out a whole baggie of pre-made sections of chainmail. All they had to do was clip the 4 to 5 inch sections together.
Yeah. So they had some of their stuff already pre-made. Oh, side note within a side note. Within a side note.
Side note, Inception.
Comes to find out, as we're, helping them make their chainmail and make their cosplay happen, we find out that this guy that they're making the cosplay for is not even a cosplayer.
Oh, yeah.
He was just an actor.
The main cast guy was just an actor trying to get a check. He even admit that. He's like, so are you guys cosplayers or something? Like, he barely even knew what the word cosplay was.
I know, right?
And dude was even like, nah, I just saw the casting call, so I applied, and they called me back. I just wanted to get a check.
And I'm sitting here helping you. The guy that was his partner was an actual, I guess he was a crafter. Like he
was an actual cosplayer.
Yeah, he was an actual
he
cosplayer.
was like a LARPer.
Yeah. There you go.
That's why he was so proficient with chainmail.
And he had to not only get into his cosplay, but be body painted blue from head to toe.
And he needed things glued onto him too.
Yes, and we had to do that. Guess who had to help? Us.
Yep. We had to glue little spots of gum or whatever the secret
I was
ingredient
over it.
Yeah.
I was so over it by this time because I'm like, after he said he wasn't even a cosplayer, 'cause I thought we were into this together. Like, we're all nerds here, and we're all just helping each other for the greater good. No. He's not even a cosplayer. Like, he doesn't even want to be there. He's just there for the money.
The assistant made the whole thing.
Yeah. The guy that was just there because he's an actor, he was just sitting there eating bonbons the entire time.
He was just looking cute and playing the role, pretending like he was doing stuff. Anyways, that was just so insulting that we're sitting there helping this entire team plus stagehands. Just to wrap up that note, they took up to the last minute until they were finally forced to come on stage. And they're like, look, we have filmed everything we can. You need to come out on stage right now because we need to finish this episode.
We even did our back takes, stuff that we were gonna film, what was it called? The
B-rolls and stuff. Yeah.
We even did all of that. They filmed all the judges' reactions. They did everything that they possibly could. Like, I'm telling you, it might have been at around 10 o'clock at night by this time. We had been there all day, and they used up every single second that they could get their hands on.
That was a long as hell day because I was super sick that day too, remember?
Oh, yeah. You were coughing and sneezing.
I was so sick. I should have stayed home, but the show had to be filmed.
Yeah.
As I stated earlier, I striked out on 3 different shows. I'm finally going to be on TV. Damn it.
You were a trooper, and I give it up to you.
I was coughing and dying on stage. One of the judges was like, too bad tissue's not a part of the cosplay because Renji is sure using a lot of it.
So the nail on the coffin, the end of the story.
Yeah, let's get to the conclusion.
At the end of the episode, when you're all dressed and ready, you're in your cosplay, you go on stage and you do a little performance.
Yeah, you had to go down a catwalk.
I had to go down a catwalk and kind of showcase Urza, basically. And since the other guy was Mystique, he did his thing. He was mysterious. I don't even know what he was doing, honestly. He went down the aisle doing the Egyptian walk, and he was on the Naomi Campbell. He was doing all kinds of... I don't even know what he was doing, honestly.
Side note about that pissed me off. Why he was doing that was he got notes on what they wanted. They didn't tell us shit.
No.
They just told us, okay, walk on this one way. I'm still thinking those were going to be just test shots.
Yeah.
They're getting the crew ready. Comes to find out, you were walking up and down this runway just to get a feel for it, and they actually used that.
Yeah, because they didn't tell me anything. They just said, okay, now walk up and down this catwalk, kind of embody the character. They didn't even say that. No,
they didn't even
they
say
just
that.
said, just walk up and down. Just walk up and down this catwalk. We'll get a few reels, and then we'll do the real thing later.
It wasn't until maybe the final walk that they were like, oh, can you do something else? And we're just like, I thought we're just getting familiar. Yeah. That's why dude did all the fancy Egyptian catwalk, because he was told just to do something.
He was doing everything. I watched his playback. I'm like, what is that Mystique? Comes to find out, he didn't even know who Mystique was.
Yep.
He's never seen a single X-Men movie in his life, never read a single comic book in his life. I don't even think he's ever even seen Looney Tunes, to be honest. And I'm still in my head thinking, okay, this is for the show, this is for the competition.
Yeah.
The cherry on top of the shit cake.
Shit cake cherry has returned.
Shit cake cherry. They announced to us backstage that this guy, Mr. Mystique, has won. He's won the entire competition.
Shit cake hell. Hell damn fart.
Not only was he not a cosplayer, he didn't do anything. He didn't craft anything. He didn't lift a single finger. Like, he finagled his way on stage when the cameras were rolling. He didn't complete in the time frame.
Yeah, they were technically disqualified.
They were disqualified. They technically should have been disqualified. They had everybody on deck helping them with this whole thing. And I'm thinking still, like, okay, so I did everything that I was supposed to do. You told me to help them, even though I know I shouldn't have been helping them. Because, but I don't even think, like, even if we didn't help them, I think they would have still chosen them as the winner.
Which was totally bogus. For the sake of the show being complete.
Yeah.
We wanted to be team players. If they didn't have enough of a costume, an episode couldn't air.
Right.
We didn't want to shoot ourselves in the foot and not have this episode air because this team messed up.
Little did I know, after seeing what they were doing on stage versus what we did on stage, because they were given direction what to do, and because they were kind of like pedigreed to do certain things and make it look a certain way, they chose them to be the winner based on that. If they had told me what to do exactly, like what they wanted and stuff like that, without like saying, oh, just fluff, just do whatever you know, if they had told me something different, it would have been a different experience. It would have been a different outcome. But because I'm thinking, oh, because we got our stuff done, I should have won based on the fact that I got everything done in time. But of course, nobody would see that because on camera and like when you're watching the show, the episode, you don't see any of that.
Yeah.
So to you guys, it looks like, oh, well, theirs looks better than yours or something. Like, little do you know, I helped with that costume that won, you know? It was horrible. It was
it was like,
I felt like shit after that.
I felt the type of way because we only helped for the sake of the production.
Yeah.
We were given the impression that despite what happened backstage and what happened afterwards, we were still the winners. Hell, I didn't even care if they aired them as the winners and gave us the money.
Right.
I'm just thinking we were the team that got our tasks done within a time frame.
Yeah. We followed the rules. We followed everything that they asked us to do. And it just didn't turn out that way. It didn't go well at all.
I understand they have to do what's better for TV.
Yeah.
If it looks better to let them win, cool. But give us the money because we technically won.
Yeah.
No, they gave them the prize money for winning.
Yeah.
We weren't even given like a pat on the back or nothing.
We got to go home, finally.
We got to go home, but I was like freaking dying.
Yeah.
I'm still salty about that.
That whole entire day from start to finish, like everything that could have gone wrong went wrong that day. And plus, nothing ever came out of, you know, what I actually did on the show. And they never said anything to us, like, no, good job. Like, you completed your task within the time frame. Nothing like that.
Nope.
Nothing. So let's move on to the next episode, the very next day. If I didn't get enough of the cosplay shitstorm diarrhea from my episode, I went back for more. So we'll take it to Alyssa, someone who I had known previously. Like, we weren't friends or close or anything like that. And when she told me about this show and got me hooked up with the producer and everything, like, I just, you know, went along with it because I'm like, well, you already have your toes wet in this industry, so let's just do it. I agreed to be on her episode. It was the same thing, the same setup, everything. Pretty much, like, before we got on stage and did the show, I had told her about my experience. Maybe you should have, like, a pattern or something that could, like, push us forward. And because if they're going to let them do it, like, why not, you know? I want to be a part of the winning circle.
Yeah, you quickly learn.
Yeah.
They just wanted good TV.
So that's exactly what she did. She had patterns already ready. She came fully prepared. Like, when I tell you, this girl took what I said to heart. She had everything lined up. I was her partner, so I was just helping her sew things and put things together. It's not like I helped cut anything or anything like that. Like, she had everything down. Again, shaving the time. Her 4 hours went down to 2 hours within no time. I'm still like, hustling and trying to get things ready because I'm like, oh no, this time we're going to do this differently. And they're going to see the work that we're putting in today. Like, I don't care who is better than us. I don't care what they think. I'm going to get this done within the time frame so they can see it. Pretty much got everything completely just done within the 4 hours again. And she got a lot of really good points. She had like a jacket, the dress, she had little shoes to go with her outfit, she had the wig, everything was like, she had little gloves that she made. It was a really cute outfit. And we got a lot of points for creativity and crafting points and everything like that. We had no issues with her opponent, nothing like how we had it. So I just want to reiterate the fact that all I had to do when it came down to it was just sew everything together and put it together according to her instruction. She had everything already like there. So all I had to do was put it together really quick and then just according to what she wanted.
Yeah, so she would just grab the raw material and cut it and be like, here, sew it here. So, okay.
Because obviously, like, she had everything sized to herself as well, which was a really big help.
So you just put the puzzle together.
I just put the puzzles together. That's it. There was something wrong with her skirt where it was like a ruffle skirt. So it was like the way that she cut the fabric wasn't long enough, or it didn't add up with the seams.
Yeah.
So I did the best that I could based on what she had already cut out for me. I made the ruffles, I made everything, but it kind of looked like lopsided, like the ruffles were kind of like, some were high, some were low, but it was based on what she had already cut out. It comes down to it, she wins her episode. I'm like, yes, like finally we got one on you. Like I won this. I helped with this. I won that. I was so heated from my episode that when she won hers, I was like, okay, I'm a part of that shit. Remember that. Remember that I won this.
Yeah.
I helped win this shit. Because I went through it was horrible what we went through. Fast forward maybe like a week later. And this is why, okay, I'm getting too heated. Let me calm down. Woo-sa. She got the winning money. Everything was cool. And then...
Did she split some of that money with you?
No, she didn't, but we'll get to that. A little birdie told me that she called somebody and told them about the episode and told them about her experience on the show. It was somebody that I had mutually known. It was one of my friends that she was talking to, and she's like... You know what? I'm just going to say it. Your friend sucked. My friend's like, wait, what? She's like, yeah, I'm just going to say that Shana sucked on my episode. Like, she didn't sew my stuff right. It didn't look right. The skirt was, like, lopsided. And she's like, wait, didn't you make the pattern? And she's like, but yeah, but, like, it just didn't look right. And she sucks.
It's like, bitch, you cut it out. You told me where to sew it. You can't cut pieces of wood and draw dotted lines, say, hammer nails here, then get mad that I hammered a nail there.
The skirt, it was visually lopsided, and she did get, like, points knocked off for that. But she won the episode. She won.
At the end of the day,
she won. What I want to say to you, Alyssa, is you're welcome. Despite how you felt about me, despite what happened, despite how whatever was going on in your little head, you're welcome, because you still won and you did not share the prize money with me. So, take that.
Oh, and side note, you didn't even have a partner to begin with.
You asked me based on, like, someone you knew in California. You just asked me to be a part of this, and I did that for you, did I not? So you're welcome again. Honestly, I don't even care. Like, if you won, and that's cool. Like, I'm the kind of person who doesn't really care about money in that way. But it's just the fact that you went behind my back and talked shit about me even after you won. I can see, like, if you didn't win, like, you got a lot of points knocked off based on, like, our partnership or whatever. But you still won, and you still talk shit. And I don't appreciate that, and I still don't appreciate that to this day. And I will never help you with anything ever again after that. So, yeah. Alyssa.
That's heated.
It is, because... I took this being on the show kind of personally, because I am a real crafter. I do design cosplays and fashion pieces and stuff like that. So after that show, I never did something like that again, because it kind of played on your, like, it kind of just played with you. It tarnished your character.
Yeah, that's a good segue.
Yeah.
The aftermath of the show, as Shana was just trying to say, it tarnishes who you are.
Yeah.
you watch reality shows. Most of us is pretty familiar with Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
When you hear the name Snooki, it doesn't matter if she cured cancer. All you think about is she was that drunk girl.
I still think of her like
exactly.
that. I watched the show. I love Jersey Shore. I still think of Snooki as this drunk girl that was passed out in the middle of the street in Italy and ran into the bush.
Snooki has wrote like successful children's books, right?
She's been very successful.
But yet we think of that drunk girl on Jersey Shore falling off the pier, going into a trash can.
Where's the beach?
So I feel what Shana was saying about it's tarnishing your brand.
Because I take something like that personally. I take it seriously. This is what I do in my life. Crafting and designing and sewing and seamstress stuff are a part of my life. And I kind of take responsibility on that myself because reality TV shows will always shine you in a different light.
Oh, yeah.
That's
you
not
play the
so
character.
pretty. You play the character. And sometimes what you put out there is going to be thrown back in your face. And that's kind of something that I set myself up for. For Alyssa, you've done this. So for you to knock somebody else down, I didn't even know. Like, I don't even know what to say to that. And you are a type of person that I just don't want to come across ever again. Needless to say, our relationship after this was finished.
The difference with that, though, is to her, this was another check.
Mm-hmm.
It didn't matter if it tarnished her. Luckily, she won, but I'm sure if she didn't, it wouldn't have mattered.
Yeah.
But for you, coming to LA, you paid your bills off commissions for cosplay and fashion. Yeah. You put your reputation as a businesswoman on the line.
Oh, yeah.
People are watching you now lose this episode.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure it did hinder your business for a little bit.
Oh, yeah, it did. And especially since she talks a lot, since she has a big mouth, I don't know what else she might have, like, if you're going to say that to a friend of mine that knows me, who knows what she could have said, like, to other people.
Strangers.
And that's a play on your character, yourself, because you don't know how to talk to people. You don't know how to be a person, a human being.
Especially to this new market of people that you're just meeting.
Exactly.
Again, this is all within the first year of us living here.
Yeah.
That first year was like a wild ride.
Yeah.
Then to have someone we know talk down on you for helping them, like that's some bullshit. You weren't chasing petty checks. You were cashing checks doing what you love.
I was building something. I was building my foothold here in California. At the end of the day, all I can say is when it comes to reality TV shows, when it comes to pretty much like putting your craft and who you really are out in the limelight like that in that way, you got to take it with a grain of salt, and you got to pick and choose your battles. And with people like Alyssa, you got to choose who your company is and who you tell things to and who you choose to keep in your life in that way. Yeah.
The lesson learned from that is your integrity and your brand is worth way more than that penny check.
It is.
Just looking back on that, I wish I was never a part of it.
I wish I was never a part of it.
It's solidified in history for as long as they want to continue to air that.
Yeah.
Like what you do on these shows is there forever, just like what you do on the internet. But that just showed us in this like light that we don't like, though we know the behind the scenes. Let's just fast forward to after production. I just want to talk about that just to give people the full scale of what comes with being on a reality show or just TV in general. Usually what happens is this. You film it and then you have to promote it.
Yeah.
They sell you on once this show airs, this is going to happen. Your life's going to change.
Everything's a dream for everybody, even your producers, even people that you work with. It's all a dream for them here.
Yeah. You can use this show as a platform to go from here to here.
So long story short, Renji said all that to say this. There was no press run. There was no promotion to this show at all. I didn't even know when my episode was going to be aired. Yep. I didn't know when her episode was going to be aired. Next thing I know, it's like already on TV. Yeah. I'm like, since when?
It's already online and airing on TV.
There was nothing that anchored us to this show. They didn't say anything. They didn't tell us when it was going to be aired. I think we found out on our own.
Yeah, we were tagged in social media. That's how we found out.
We were tagged in social media.
Yeah.
And I'm like, it was like the day, I don't even know. It was like a weird day. And they're like, oh, by the way, you're on this episode. I'm like,
And even their social media had maybe like 300 followers.
I don't even...
That didn't even do anything. It's like, wow, you could have told me and I could have promoted it, but we didn't know until the day of.
Because unfortunately, this show, at least for us, became a thing after the fact. After maybe like a year after this. Like after this whole thing happened, it might have been like a year or so. But when people were talking about it...
People didn't watch it till...
that's what I mean by thing. When people were actually talking about it, it was maybe like a year after we had already filmed the episode.
Yeah, they didn't watch it till it aired.
And they're like, oh yeah, I saw you and Renji on this episode of this show that I'm watching. And I'm like...
We had blocked it out of our memory.
That was like 20 years ago.
We had blocked it out of our memory.
Yeah.
People were tagging us like, I just saw you. Like, oh, God.
By this point, guys, because I had really hustled my acting career. And by this point, I was already on Grey's Anatomy. I was on How to Get Away with Murder. I was on a lot of shows you've seen before by the time that y'all had actually seen this episode. So I'm like, yeah, I don't even remember that. I don't even know.
Yep.
Because I had already done my thing. Yeah, by this time, I had my foot in the door already. So I'm like, you know what?
Yeah.
Just go ahead. Just go ahead.
Yeah, this show was kind of like embarrassing high school pictures you didn't want people to see.
Yeah.
But
it was one of those
people
things.
found them.
Because by that time, I'm already on TV. Like, I don't even care about this shit anymore. Like, because they didn't tell us anything. They didn't promote anything. So by the time they showed it, nobody even knew what this show was.
The show cost us more money than it made us. Like I said, it tarnished Shauna's brand.
And it was far. We drove far to be a part of this.
Work. I could have got paid more at work than to film this show. And then just for them to make us look like losers that we lost to these people that not only cheated by making stuff beforehand and needed help and also got disqualified. It just made us look so bad.
It made me look like a loser next to someone who doesn't even cosplay, who doesn't even make anything, who doesn't even watch TV, to be honest. Like, you want to be an actor, but you don't even watch TV. Like,
front end pay was crappy. Back end pay was non-existent. Exposure did not help for anything. We all could have used this to promote ourselves. We could have gone on a radio station. We could have did a whole press tour for this show, but the production just dropped the ball. Mm-hmm. They just rushed it, put the show on air, and said, here, take it.
That's exactly what they did.
So there was that, all right? After already killing our spirits, they just pissed on our grave by doing this. They shot another season. Mm-hmm. They didn't invite us back. No. Oh, no. They invited back Alyssa. And they invited back the freaking guy who beat us, who didn't really beat us. He was on the next season. Like, are you serious? You're telling me the guy that didn't even get his cosplay done, you're going to invite that dude that doesn't even cosplay back? That is some bullshit. Mm-hmm. And yet, you just going to forget about us, right?
Oh, but I wouldn't get invited back anyway because I suck, remember?
And then it never happened, but there was talks about another season after that. Since I know people in high places within the cosplay world, of course I'm going to hear about a casting call about a cosplay show. I'm thinking.
Let me guess.
I'm sitting there trying to think like it's the same damn competition show. Like, are y'all serious? Y'all going for another season? Comes to find out, some of the same people casting are reaching out on social media. I'm just like, I recognize that name. Digging deep, I'm hearing more returning cast members. Mm-hmm. I was like, okay, I see y'all. I mean, it's not like I was going to be on that show again anyway. It's like, why would you after this first season, what was a nightmare?
After the bullshit.
I'm hearing people want to return not back for a second, but a third time. I'm like, y'all dumb. Y'all dumb.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. So let's just wrap up that story because it's just pissing me off.
But I will say this, like, just if you're trying to be an aspiring actor, do your research. Look at these things that you're trying to be a part of because a lot of the times they will tell you in fine print, like, what this really is. Like, you know, take everything with a grain of salt because you're not going to make it big off of one thing. Like,
a lot of cosplayers aspire to be famous, mm-hmm. to be successful. I don't knock them for that. I moved out to LA to be more closer to the entertainment business. I got you. For some reason, there's some misconception that cosplay is a stepping stone to becoming an actor or a singer or a model. That's the furthest from the truth. If you're talking about actual real modeling, acting, singing, or just professional level, I'm not talking about getting paid $100 to stand next to a beer bottle. I'm not talking about filming in a YouTube video. I'm talking about you land a role on TV, you land a role in a movie, no matter how big or small the part is. They don't give a shit if you're a cosplayer. They don't give a shit that you have 100,000 followers on Instagram. If you can't act, or if you can't sing, or you can't model, they're not going to freaking hire you. You need to be good at that art form that you want to be successful in.
Yeah.
If you want to act, then you need to get better at acting. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus, the people that reached out to me. Y'all think because I live in LA, I'm living this successful acting dream. No, I'm not, because auditions are freaking hard. Yes, we just spoke about being on TV for cosplay. That is different because that was an actual competition show about cosplay.
Yeah. We're talking about TV shows.
TVs.
On
in the
Lifetime
rare case,
and HBO.
unless it is casting for a cosplay crafting show or a show like Heroes of Cosplay that's about cosplay, they're not going to cast you just because you're a popular cosplayer. My advice to you, if you want to be an aspiring actor, singer, or whatever, stop spending so much time on cosplay and start working on that craft that you want to be a professional in. That's it.
Yeah.
On that note, I got one quick story about a cosplayer that did make it to a actual TV show that got aired on a big network, and that shit did nothing for her.
Oh, shit.
But let's talk about how she first got on the show. She auditioned just like everybody else. She made the cut. It was a reality dating show where they fly you to some exotic remote location.
Another reality show.
Yep. Again.
Okay.
Keep that in mind, too. It's a reality show. It's not like an actual TV show. After speaking with her, cosplay did nothing for her to get on the show. Just to drive that point home, she auditioned. Show aired. Nothing has happened for her ever since. Sold her soul to another reality show. Did not put her in any movies. Did not make her acting career any bigger. Nor did it make her cosplay career any bigger. So I just want y'all to keep that in mind, too. It's like, yeah, you can land roles as a cosplayer, but being a cosplayer doesn't help you get that role. Vice versa. Just because you landed a role on this reality TV show doesn't make your cosplay life any bigger.
It really doesn't. And honestly, it doesn't really make you as an actor any bigger. It depends on like what you do after the fact. Like take Jamie Chung, for example. Jamie Chung was on The Real World.
Real World San Diego.
Yeah.
Oh, that was my boo.
Jamie Chung is, you can see her at Once Upon a Time, that show. She played Mulan in that show.
She was the wife on Hangover 2. The guy,
Yeah.
She married the dentist.
Point is, she became a big star based on what she did for herself after that. It's not because she was on The Real World. We know her from that show, but it didn't matter like what that show did. It didn't do anything for her.
She still had to work on her craft.
She still had to work on her craft, and that's exactly what you just said.
Yeah. So with this last story I just told real quick, the craft wasn't strong on either side. She wasn't a good enough actress to land bigger roles, nor was she a good enough cosplayer to become a bigger cosplayer.
Nothing is going to fall in your lap. Despite the stories you might have heard or whatever about these other people, you don't know at the end of the day what those people had to do to get to where they are now.
Yeah.
Like, you got to take responsibility on yourself. If you want to do something like acting, if you want to do something bigger, you got to invest in yourself.
Yeah.
And that's a big word. You got to invest in yourself because nothing's going to come free. There's no such thing as a free lunch.
Yep. Yeah. I think we hit a lot of good points today. That was our personal experience about being involved with reality TV. For those of you who are wanting to be on TV, or for those of you who think it's a shortcut to get on reality TV first,
It's a lot of
then
hard work.
segue to the big screen. Keep in mind, how many big reality stars have made it to the big screen? You haven't seen a Kardashian movie, have you? Like a lead role with Kim Kardashian? No, and she's probably like one of the biggest reality stars right now. But you've never seen her star in like the Marvel Cinematic Universe or anything. So a lot of these things don't translate, guys. So don't take these shortcuts. Long story short, just work on your craft. Cosplay will not segue to much if all you know how to do is cosplay. So just keep that in mind, guys. Whew. I feel better. You feel better?
I feel a lot better because something like, the whole cosplay competition show, like, that's something I've never really said out loud. And it feels good to finally talk about that. And it feels good to finally clear the air with, people like Alyssa in my life, because there's a million Alyssas in my life.
Oh, yeah. To me, it feels good because I don't want to sell people fake dreams, Like, I got a bunch of people that messaged me about us being on the show, and they were, like, thinking we're going to be on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. But, like, nah, that was just another paid gig, and we have a long way to go. It's like...
Or I don't want people to say, like, oh, you're lucky. I hate that word.
Oh, yeah.
I hate that word, lucky.
That's a topic in itself.
That's a topic in itself, but, like, I want you to know my struggles in this game.
Yeah.
I want you to know what I had to go through because I didn't just land these things. I was in a really big show. Like, it took a lot to get there.
Yeah, appreciate
I'm not
the journey.
lucky.
Yeah.
I'm not lucky by any means. And those of you who aren't out here and aren't, like, seeing these things in your hometown, it's not luck. Honestly, like, you come here and you have these dreams and you do these things, but it doesn't ever fall in your lap. Yeah. Never.
A lot of these things don't equate to luck. And that's such an insult. I could talk about that for days.
Oh, yeah. That's a big insult.
Yeah, you got to stop telling people that they're lucky.
Just because you don't have it within your vicinity, it doesn't mean that that person's lucky. It means that I worked my ass off to get here to California in the first place to even have these opportunities. So keep that in mind.
Man, before we go too deep into that, because that is a trigger for me when people tell me I'm lucky.
Like, oh, it must be nice. Oh, yeah, it must be nice to just do whatever you want and not,
Oh, yeah. Oh,
I'm not even going to
quick note on that. Someone once told me it must be nice to be living in LA and working in the entertainment industry. I had to sacrifice a lot of things and save up $10,000 so I can move and have enough money to survive for a month here in LA. But it must be nice just to live in Indiana and spend money on all the video games you want, where rent's $500 a month, and where you can work a minimum wage job and pay your bills. That must be nice.
It must be nice to live at home with your parents.
Yeah, or that too. So shut the hell up.
I'm sorry. Sorry, not sorry.
Don't be saying people that worked hard to be somewhere that they're lucky, and stop telling me it must be nice. Because it is nice, because we worked hard so we get to enjoy the nice things.
And besides that, you don't know what we had to do to get here. So keep your opinions to yourself, because honestly, that's a big trigger to me, because people look at us like, oh, it must be nice to just do these things. Rethink what you're going to say before you say it.
Whew.
And in that order.
Everybody getting triggered now. All right. All right. Let's just throw in the flag, blow the whistle. We're gonna end it right here. Whew.
That's a whole other episode.
That's a whole other episode. Anyways, guys, thank you so much for listening to this week's podcast. It's been fun. It's been educational.
I feel a lot better. I feel like a weight has been lifted off my Slytherin chest here. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, I'm wearing a Slytherin cardigan, so...
Yep. Anyways, I'm Fanservice Renji.
I'm Shana Mostella.
We'll see you guys next week.
Bye.
Thank you.